What's so special about this game, anyway? For some reason, I've found myself revisiting this game over the years, and it's not just me. The Life is Strange fanbase is larger than ever, flooding over Twitter, dominating subreddits, and inspiring endless TikTok tributes. Life is Strange 2015 wasn't the only narrative-based game of its time. It stood among giants, games like Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, or The Walking Dead. Yet, a decade later, Life is Strange stands as one of the most beloved and remembered pieces of media left from that generation of video games. But why? Is it the gameplay mechanics? The raw, emotional storytelling? The memorable characters? Or is it something deeper? Even after 10 years, people like me can't get enough of this game. Sequels, remasters, graphic novels. The love of this game refuses to fade. So what sets Life is Strange apart? How did it outlast its competitors and remain a timeless masterpiece? Yes, time travel pun intended. Join me in this deep dive analysis to discover the true reason Life is Strange is still alive and kicking in the big 2025. Okay guys, here's how the video is gonna go because there's a lot to talk about. First of all, spoiler/trigger warning for Life is Strange 2015. The game contains violence and guns, so if you don't like it, you've been warned. Although, let's be honest, if you sat through my cringy intro, then you probably already like the game, so yeah. Life is Strange was originally published by Don't Not Entertainment, a video game developer based in Paris. Who would have thought one of the most remembered representations of small-town America was made by French people? Am I right, guys? The game was released episodically at first. This means that the first episode, named Chrysalis, came out on the 30th of January 2015, and the last episode, named Polarized, came out on the 20th of October of the same year. The first episode was free to play as a sort of demo to encourage people to buy the game and play the rest of the episodes later on. We all remember the first time we played Life is Strange. Whether you're a fan of the game or not, it's likely you recall the iconic art style, soundtrack, and memorable dialogue that made Life is Strange so unique at the time. Personally, I really liked this game since the moment it came out, and I wanted to make this video as a kind of tribute to its legacy. Even though the dialogue is a little goofy and the story is a bit corny, we all miss Life is Strange. This video is made to remember the good times. Anyway, let's start the analysis or whatever.
Section 1. Story and Writing.
The writing and story is the spine of any narrative-based game. Let's use The Walking Dead as an example. The core experience relies on the setting, characters, and dialogue.
I mean, I didn't have a tape measure or anything like that, but
Life is Strange is no exception. In summary, the game's protagonist, Maxine Caulfield, is a shy 18-year-old photography senior at the prestigious Blackwell Academy. The events of the story unfold in Arcadia Bay, a picturesque seaside town in Oregon. Blackwell Academy is a private boarding school, common in France but not very common in small American towns. It really goes to show this game was made by the French. Max is back to her hometown in Arcadia Bay after spending 5 years in Seattle and promptly reunites with her estranged childhood friend, the rebellious punk rock Chloe Price. Together, they start to uncover the truth behind fellow student Rachel Amber's mysterious disappearance, and soon they find themselves exposed to the darker side of Arcadia Bay. We need to talk about this town. Arcadia Bay is really a character of its own. The game draws inspiration from various small towns around Tillamook Bay, Oregon, to construct its various iconic locations. The developers at Don't Not aim to capture the specific melancholic nostalgia of the Pacific Northwest. On a 2014 interview, creative director Jean-Maxime Maurice said, "The Pacific Northwest was something that we determined very early in the development process as the place we wanted to set the game in. We wanted to have this very nostalgic and autumnal feel to the game. I think they nailed this." The atmosphere is palpable, a blend of natural beauty and lingering mystery that perfectly complements the story's themes. Other media that uses the Pacific Northwest as a setting are often mystery dramas, much like Life is Strange itself. Back to this story, at the start of the game, Max discovers she can rewind time as she gets disturbing premonitions of the future. This narrative is elegantly built on two intertwining plotlines: the personal mystery of Rachel Amber and the metaphysical drama of Max's sudden ability to rewind time, which she must use to prevent a catastrophic storm from destroying the town. Life is Strange also holds countless references to different media. This poster on Max's room is a reference to the cover of Catcher in the Rye.
It's called Catcher in the Rye, and it has some very risque parts.
Mr. Garrison, didn't the guy who shot John Lennon say it was because of this book?
The drug dealer, Frank Bowers, is a clear nod to Breaking Bad's Jesse Pinkman, complete with his RV license plate that spells it out. Other characters' plates reference The X-Files, 6 Feet Under, and Twin Peaks, among others. Speaking of Twin Peaks, the game was heavily inspired by the 90s American mystery drama, which also takes place in a small town deep in the Pacific Northwest, and there is also a mysterious missing/dead girl that the story focuses on. This is where the game takes inspiration for most of the common high school and teenage drama characters. On a 2015 interview, game director Michel Couche stated, "We really wanted to use known archetypes that people see in teenage drama and in movies. This was made with the intention of adding complexity to the characters later on." Section 2. The game looks good. At face value, the art style is the most impressive and recognizable part of the game. Not because it is super realistic or elaborate, but because it uses minimalist resources to generate a warm atmosphere. Every texture in the game has this painting-like appearance. For example, the flowing wind and the ocean waves are represented with a simple white brushstroke. I'm not sure if this art style has a name, but it is similar to the ones used by other games at the time, like The Wolf Among Us and The Walking Dead. In these games, textures are not extremely detailed because they don't need to be. Instead, they rely on other elements, such as lighting, to convey emotion. Life is Strange takes advantage of this and drives it to the extreme. Warm, emotive scenes happen in warm light, usually in the morning or evening. Meanwhile, more dramatic climax moments have this cold, artificial light and usually take place indoors or at night. This art style deliberately sacrifices realism to amplify emotional impact. I think the game uses this minimalist approach to resemble a fleeting memory, where feelings are more easily remembered than accurate detail. This gives the game a surreal and dreamlike atmosphere, deepening the game's overwhelming sense of nostalgia. The director for Life is Strange, Michel Couche, said on a 2014 Gamescom preview, "Every object in the game has a distinct look and feel, and every texture in the game is hand-painted." The art direction of Life is Strange uses realistic shapes, with stylized textures that are aimed to look like animated concept art. We can see this iconic style reflected on the many pieces of concept art that inspired the locations and characters of the game. It's impressive how much they resemble the actual in-game versions. Another visual resource that Life is Strange uses a lot is photographic composition, which is funny because Max is studying photography in the game. Simply put, the game arranges visual elements within a frame to create a visually appealing and impactful image. This gives a very cinematic ambience to the game. These cinematic shots of the environment help set the tone for the story. For example, the endings of episode 1 through 3 enhance the experience with these gorgeous shots that I stole for the intro of this video. Sometimes, the shots are simple but impactful. Take this scene for instance. The game plays with the contrast between the size of the characters and the height of the water tower while they talk. The camera switches between wide pans of the tower and close-up shots of Max and Chloe interacting while they walk along the rails. This makes the conversation between these two childhood friends seem more natural. The third and last visual element that finishes off this section of the video is the animations themselves. The motion of the cars, the trees blowing in the wind, the people talking and walking around really give life to Arcadia Bay. The animation itself is not elaborate, but the movement is more focused on the portrayal of the setting itself, like a moving canvas. These three elements, art style, composition, and animation, are what unify the game's visuals. Life is Strange doesn't need hyper-realistic graphics to accomplish a lot, and manages to convey emotions effectively with very little. But that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Life is Strange. Section 3. The music is good. The original score of Life is Strange was composed by Jonathan Morali, a French musician who is also the frontman of the rock and folk band named Sid Matters. You'll recognize them by the memorable tracks named To All of You, which plays during the intro sequence in the first episode, and Obstacles, which can be heard at the endings of the first and last episode. The rest of the songs are licensed tracks, made by various other artists from the time. The soundtrack itself is perfect. There's no other way to describe it. The OST has 4.7 million views on YouTube. I must be responsible for half of those views, honestly. The music in this game is used mainly to set the tone for every scene. It enhances climax and makes reflective moments more soothing. The tracks of the game and the visual elements bring instant emotion into a scene without any words. You don't need me to tell you this though. You've been listening to the soundtrack for this entire video. Most of the songs I used for the background music in this video are from the Life is Strange soundtrack. Not this one though. Ironically enough, I chose a song from the DLC to play for this section, which I believe is actually better than the original, and you can quote me on that. I quite literally stole the game's score to make this essay less boring, and if you still hear, it worked. That's how effective the music of the game is. Life is Strange uses a mix of diegetic and extra-diegetic music to strengthen the experience. Diegetic music exists within the game's reality, heard by both the player and the characters, such as the morning tune Max uses as an alarm clock, music heard during the Vortex Club party, or the American Girlfriend song heard through Max's headphones during the intro for the game. And extra-diegetic music are songs that are outside the world of the game and can only be heard by the player. This includes tracks like Obstacles, which as I said can be heard in the ending of episode 1 and one of the endings for the game. This extra-diegetic music is also central to the game's unique moments of pause. Throughout the story, Max will sit down on a bench, by a tree, or on a swing, to process events in a voiced inner monologue. These moments of calm are accompanied by the soothing score, allowing the players to breathe, reflect, and soak in the atmosphere through beautiful cinematic shots. Here's an example.
Although this junkyard is a dive, I see why Chloe hangs here. She's a steampunk. It actually feels like Chloe and I are kids again. We're hiding out and plotting our future. Despite all the chaos and bullshit, I feel so giddy hanging out with her again. So happy. Like we've both gone back in time.
A chapter in the academic book, Acoustic Dimensions of Immersion, titled Moments of Silence in Life is Strange by Michael Musil, explores this brilliant design choice in depth. The book can be found online, but it's unfortunately hidden behind a paywall. The abstract is fun to read though. The soundtrack of Life is Strange, much like the game itself, is profoundly memorable and nostalgic. You might forget plot details or character names, but the main themes are so iconic they become permanently etched in your memory. I replayed Life is Strange last year for one simple reason. I heard the soundtrack again. Just a few songs were enough to transport me back and make me remember how this game made me feel. That is the testament to its power. It is undoubtedly one of the most iconic and enduring elements of the entire experience. Section 4. The gameplay is crazy. It's common criticism that narrative choice-based games often have wonky gameplay. These games often consider simply selecting dialogue as the core gameplay mechanic. Life is Strange revolutionized this notion by introducing a brilliant tool: time travel. The game begins as our protagonist, Max Caulfield, suddenly acquires the power to rewind time. I don't even need to explain why it was so groundbreaking to have a time-traveling protagonist on a choice-based narrative, right? I mean, technically you can rewind time on every choice-based game by tediously using save files, but this feature is always extra-diegetic. As I said before, this means that it exists outside the world of the game. But much like as in Undertale, saving and loading files is a canonically occurring phenomenon in that world, Life is Strange makes time travel an intrinsic part of both its mechanics and its plot. For the first time, time travel is a canonical in-story superpower, not just a thing you can do as the player. Life is Strange and Undertale came out in the same year, by the way. This means that time travel in Life is Strange serves the twofold function as an in-game mechanic and as a handy storytelling tool. Mechanically, it allows players to solve puzzles and exhaust every branch of a dialogue tree. Narratively, It is arguably the whole plot point of Life is Strange. It's refreshing to be able to undo your most recent action, because in these types of games, oftentimes, the dialogue choices you get for a few seconds on your screen are nothing like what the character actually says. There's many clips on the internet showing this funny situation unfold, like this one.
If you were in my shoes, you'd be the...
What? I didn't say that!
This funny situation would never happen in Life is Strange. Rewinding time allows the player to be in tune with what they actually want to say, rather than just guessing what's gonna happen once you click on the vague 3-word statement. By letting you rewind time, you hear the outcome of a choice firsthand. This allows you to select the option that truly aligns with your intent, making you fully responsible for every decision. You can no longer blame the game for being unclear. You proceed with perfect knowledge of the immediate consequences. Being able to know what is gonna happen in any given interaction removes the typical thrill of uncertainty, but the game brilliantly replaces it with a heavier, more thoughtful burden: the weight of sacrifice. Life is Strange does not ask you to choose dialogue, it asks you to sacrifice and prioritize possible future consequences. After every meaningful decision, the game presents you with the ominous message: this action will have consequences, forcing you to pick one possible future over another. All of this makes the player more conscious of their choice. It's also really fun to trick people into liking you by using Max's power. If you give yourself the time to talk to every NPC, it's very easy to always say the right thing or to mess with them.
I was eating those beans!
Who hasn't wished at least once they could rewind time? Life is Strange fulfills that wish. Earlier in the video I mentioned that the story pulled teenage stereotypes from other media, but to dismiss the game as just a mix of high school drama stereotypes would be a mistake. Life is Strange tells a nostalgic, coming-of-age story through the journey of the protagonist, Max Caulfield, and the rewind mechanism was specifically designed to serve this purpose. The game approaches real-world issues and problematic situations such as depression, bullying, suicide, domestic violence, mental illness, and the loss of loved ones, all framed through the turbulent lens of adolescence. Hence the name. Life is messy. Life is unpredictable. Life is strange.
Life is weird.
The power of time travel as a mechanic is how the game subverts its own premise. Life is Strange isn't about the freedom to change everything. It's about learning that sometimes you can't. It's a lesson in accepting the past, taking responsibility for your choices, and finally moving forward. It shows us that you need to stop looking back and learn to live with the consequences of your actions. This is why the game feels so nostalgic. It's meant to make you feel stuck in the past, much like Chloe is stuck in the past and can't seem to recover from her father's loss or from Max's abandonment. Sometimes you need to stop looking backwards, wanting to change everything.
Section 5 Conclusion.
Here's what we've learned so far about Life is Strange. 1. Everyone has secrets. 2. Your actions have consequences. And 3. Louis Daguerre was a French painter who created
daguerreotypes.
Throughout this video, we've meticulously gone through every aspect of the game, but we've yet to answer the main question. Why is Life is Strange so beloved today? There are thousands of games with better art styles, story, music, and gameplay. Life is Strange is far from perfect. Let's be honest here for a moment. Life is Strange is not something you have to analyze like a book. We don't remember the game because of the genius story or dialogue. We don't cherish the game because it revolutionized the genre. We remember Life is Strange because of how it made us feel. When I play Life is Strange, even though the story is quite tragic, I feel very calm. Every element allows the player to feel immersed into this rich world. There's a real narrative and the visuals are mesmerizing. It has a unique atmosphere that no other game has. Life is Strange is a game where you can relax. There aren't many games like that today. This game feels warm and cozy. I replay it so I can feel immersed and experience that warmth again. Add to it the fact that the game is 10 years old and the nostalgia factor goes through the roof. In many ways, Life is Strange marked the end of an era. And while it's true that more narrative-based games came after Life is Strange, the more memorable ones in my opinion are from that exact time period. Early 2010 games are simple, but revolutionary for their generation. Some people say that Life is Strange is just le vibes, and they may be right, but how many other games can be recognized by just vibes? I think it deserves some merit, because vibes, or as I call it, atmosphere, isn't very easy to generate as intensely as Life is Strange manages to. I made this video with the intention to take you back to the first time you discovered Life is Strange. I hope I achieved to emulate a fraction of the emotions this game produced in me. That was it for the video, guys. This was rather long, the editing took forever, but you know how it is. There's still so much I left out. I could talk for hours about this game, but it would just be so boring to watch. Anyway, wanna see me complain about Life is Strange double exposure? That's literally my first video ever made, so make sure to give it a watch if you don't die of cringe first. I also have a video about Life is Strange too, but that's the cringiest one, so don't watch it. That's it for today. Follow for more tips. There's also a show coming, I'm so excited.